This show is brought to you in part by some amazing people. I like to call them my Patreon podcast producers. They're all on Instagram, so go give them a follow. Daryl at Your Level Fitness, Amy at Gym of the Gym, that's GEM of the GYM, Caitlin at Caitlin Elise. Make sure you put a Y in her name. That's 3 Ys because she's 3 times as awesome. Crystal at Reduced Fat Mama. I always love that name. Very clever. And Emily at M is the Biggest Loser. That's EM is the Biggest Loser. But guess what? She's a winner, as is all of these fine folks. And if you want to have your name read right here alongside of them, stay tuned to the end of the show for more details. Are you Team Apple? I got to shout out all of you checking out this show right now on an iPhone, iPad, etc. In fact, nearly 70% of you are listening to me on one of these devices. It would mean the world to me if you took a moment to leave a review. This is one of the best things that you can do for this podcast to help get the word out. And while you're at it, leave reviews for some of your other favorite shows. I bet they would really dig it. Oh, yeah! Hey friends, welcome to the Gary Cantrell podcast, and boy do I have a special treat for you. Today's a bonus show. It's a long one. Strap in. Got 90 minutes of interviews with Diamond Dallas Page, the founder, the creator of DDP Yoga. Look, I've been talking all about DDP Yoga on this podcast for the last month because it's been what I have made my full-time workout schedule. DDP says, hey, you can do only DDP Yoga. You don't have to step foot in a gym. I'm going to put that theory to the test. I'm figuring it out. I'm trying it out. I'm seeing how it works for me. So far, I really like it. As I was digging through my old archives, you guys heard the bonus show with Jake the Snake Roberts. I found not one, but 2 interviews with Diamond Dallas Page. One from February of 2008 and the other from March of 2013. Interview number 1 is just over an hour runtime. Interview number 2, just about a half an hour. So you got 90 plus minutes with Diamond Dallas Page here. You're going to hear all about the origins of DDP Yoga, which started out as YRG, Yoga for Regular Guys. And as we get into the interview from 2013, you'll hear about how DDP Yoga progressed over those 5 years to where they are at that point, and they're gaining steam. They're getting a lot of momentum. Now they're doing awesome. They had the Shark Tank thing and all that stuff, which I'm hoping, and this is what I want to put you guys on before I get to this interview. Do me a favor, if you will. If you like what you hear today, and this sounds like something that you want to hear, or you're familiar with DDP and what he does, if you want to hear him on this show, I'm going to tell you, the listeners, a little secret. I reached out to DDP. I know he's a very busy guy, probably gets tens of thousands of emails a week, and I'm probably buried in there somewhere. So if we can round up the Gary Cantrell podcast listeners and head over to my Instagram, by now you've probably seen a post that has, I'm promoting this podcast right here. I'm going to tag them in that. Can you guys do me a favor? If you like what you hear, and if you want to hear him on this podcast, help me out. Tag him and just say, DDP, this is where you want to be, my friend. You gotta do this podcast with Gary. We'd love to hear you. Say it however you would, but do me that little solid, that little favor, and let's get DDP back on here. I have reached out to him, but like I said, I feel like I got buried in emails. I don't really want to light up his email box again, but let's use this power of Instagram and let's reach out to him. So here we go. Let me cue up the tape. February of 2008, Diamond Dallas Page on my old wrestling podcast. Crazy, right? That's right. There's a little bit of wrestling talk, I will warn you, but it's mostly about DDP Yoga, or at that time YRG, and that's why I'm including it here. I would not just put an interview of him talking about wrestling highlights for an hour. Trust me, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, let's roll the tape. Diamond Dallas Page on my old wrestling podcast, February of 2008. Joining us right now via the telephone, you might remember him as a former WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He's also a former WWE Superstar. But what some of you probably don't know is that he's the founder of Yoga for Real Guys. Joining us right now live on the phone, Mr. Diamond Dallas Page.
What's up, Gary? What's up, Al?
What's up, man?
I am just getting back from doing a bunch of running around, man, so settling in, man. I almost got it down to the minute of getting back here on time.
Oh, no worries. I think you actually...
Wait, let me just correct you.
Yeah.
It's not Yoga for Real Guys. The original was Yoga for Regular Guys, but I figured the quickest way to getting regular guys into doing any kind of yoga, change the name. So I've got the YRG workout. That's what I call it. It's not just yoga. You know, it's a little piece of yoga, but it's more old school calisthenics, isometrics, isokinetics, which gets you in the fat burning zone standing still.
Well, I want to thank you for that correction. I was actually going to say it's actually a good thing you waited a few minutes because we got this really loud, crazy intro that'll probably blow anybody's eardrums up when they're calling in. But let's talk about this YRG thing. How did you get this thing started?
Well, for starters, you know, I was the first 42 and a half years of my life, I was a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. Okay, I mean, that's just who I was. My mind was, you know, it wasn't flexible enough to understand, you know, what it could do for me. And then in 1998, going into 99, you know, you guys always heard about my ribs and my back, and then all of a sudden I went out on a back injury. Right. And everybody thought it was, you know, a work, but it wasn't. It was for real. I ruptured my L4 and L5 so badly that I had 3 different doctors tell me my wrestling career was over. Right. Now, again, I was a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. And at the time, you know, when I was really bummed out. I went into a little bit of a depression, and I'm positively Page, but I live life at 90%. You know, the concept being life's 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. But I couldn't live life at 90%. I was in the 10%. I'm like, my God, I just signed a 3-year, $4.7 million low-end deal. And it was all, you know, pretty much going to go away. You know, I think I could have collected 50 cents on the dollar if I was out. And it wasn't so much about the money. Right. It was that I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. I tore my rotator cuff at 36. They fired me. I came back at 37. Nobody believed in this semi-rookie coming in at 37 years old. So I had to work like 5 times harder just to get noticed. And my career started to take off at 39 when I was awarded by Pro Wrestling Illustrated Most Improved Wrestler of the Year. But in 1996, when wrestling was about to go through its boom period, again, even bigger than it was in the 80s, right. You know, I was 40 years old. And Diamond Dallas Page in 1996 was about to blow up with wrestling. And, you know, I was really lucky to be there at that time. But, you know, luck is all about preparation, meeting, you know, at the same time being prepared to answer the call. And I was, because of all the hard work that I put into it up to that time. It's like when luck meets opportunity or preparation meets opportunity, that's luck. And I was prepared at the time. I blew up huge, and for 2.5 years, I was riding a rocket. And then, bang, I ruptured my L4 and L5. 3 doctors tell me my wrestling career is over. Kim, at the time, who I was married to, was like, buddy, why don't you try yoga to heal your body? Right. I'm like, yoga? I'm not doing that crap. It's for sissies. It's for chicks, not for me. You know, my mind was inflexible to the idea. And I was about to learn my most valuable lesson when it came to being adaptable. You see, living life at 90% is we only control so many things. Most things, that, you know, adversities we get hit with, we have no control over them. But the 3 things that we have total control over are the way we react, how we adapt, and how we breathe. And when it came to my reaction to yoga, it was like, I'm not doing that crap. I mean, what an ignorant statement. You know, I had never tried it before. And I just knew my testosterone said. But now I had no other choice. So I went down and I started working out with this power yoga tape. and I was blown away by how much I sweat my ass off. And then I was even more blown away by, within a couple of weeks, I started feeling flexibility and strength coming back into my body.
Right.
And so that made me go, ooh, wait a minute. Shit's turning on here that wasn't doing that before. And I kept doing it, and I didn't just do it every day. I did it 2, 3, 4 times a day, because I wouldn't go into like full blown out workouts. I was doing more strength oriented stuff, and I automatically started changing it up, because yoga is very peaceful. You know, it's very soothing. YRG is aggressive. I immediately started figuring out how to engage my muscles and move from one position to another, which jacked my heart rate up. I was like, whoa, I'm getting like a cardio workout here. How cool is this? And I hated to do cardio. So that was the beginning of what would be YRG. And actually 3 months into it, in less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. So you figure it out. At 42 years old, they say my wrestling career is over. At 43, I'm the heavyweight champion of the world.
Now at that time, was yoga widely used with wrestlers at all? I know that's a funny question, but I got to ask.
Let's take a different. You guys, what are you guys? About 20, 25, somewhere around there?
Yeah.
I actually just celebrated my 24th birthday yesterday.
Well, happy birthday, buddy. Well,
Appreciate
20 years ago, when you were 4 years old, regular guys didn't eat sushi. Okay, because sushi was like, sushi? I'm not eating raw fish.
Right.
Today, you can find it at your regular grocery store in a cooler somewhere.
Right.
You know, sushi's like a part of Americana. What I believe, and there was no one who did yoga, and there sure as hell wasn't anybody doing YRG at the time, because I was just developing it at that time back in 99, 2000, 2001. And like a lot of the things, the guys laughed at me, you know, because, you know, do you think anybody thought that the 37-year-old pseudo-rookie was ever going to make it? I mean, nobody did. They laughed at me. I filmed my matches. They laughed at me. They laughed at me when I iced my body. Do you know I was the only guy to ever ice his body in professional wrestling? I was the first.
Really?
Now, the smart ones, they all do it.
Right.
Because you got to take down the inflammation. I did chiropractic, deep muscle massage therapy. I got into organic juicing. I considered myself back then the Jack LaLanne of wrestling. Jack LaLanne's 93 years old, and he can still do unbelievable shit.
Right.
You know, so the bottom line is I was trying to hold back the hands of time because I just wanted to be able to wrestle until I got to 40. Never thought I would have wrestled 2 months, I guess it was 3 months ago, and be 51 years old and still go work out on a weekend. I just wanted to see if I could still do it, and I could. And now that I'm getting ready to blow up my infomercial with this whole YRG thing, I can't even take the chance of going in the ring. I'll go in and hit somebody with a diamond cutter, you know, but I'm not going to go in there and take the chance of tearing anything, you know.
Right. Now prior to taking on yoga, I mean, let's just get this out of the way. Did you ever experiment with any performance-enhancing drugs?
That's a stupid question, of course.
I'm just,
you know, and
just want to get you on the record there. That's all.
Yeah, but I've been on the record with who's the guy from ESPN, the top guy there. God, what's his name? He used to be on with Dibble. He's a top guy on ESPN radio.
Right.
What's his name? Do you know?
No.
It escapes me at the moment. But when they went on and busted all the boys' chops
right.
for 11 guys getting prescription drugs going through whatever it was called. I guess it was. You can get anything on the internet today.
Right.
But I went on this air and I talked about it because of course they called me up. I want to say I thought Dan. I can't remember his name right now. Either way, I brought it right up. I said, yeah, of course I did steroids. I did them responsibly though. First of all, I only put things in my body, and I'm not candy coating nothing.
Right.
But that it's in my body, like testosterone.
Sure.
I mean, we have testosterone. Guess what? As you get older, it goes down.
Right.
We have growth hormone. I did that for a little bit. I didn't really like that only because I didn't really know where that would go, and I didn't like maybe growing my organs, so I got out of that. But growth hormone, anybody who's over 40 years old, if they're not a wrestler or probably a baseball player now, can get growth hormone prescribed to them. It's a fountain of youth drug.
Right. Testosterone.
They will give you shots of testosterone. They will give you a rub-on cream. Now, I also did, probably on cycles on and off, DECA, which, just so you know, DECA Durable, they give to burn victims so that their skin will heal faster. So let me get this right. Testosterone, which I was losing, and that DECA, which will help my skin and muscles heal faster. I wrestle friggin' every night of the week almost.
Right.
Football players play one game. They play 16 games a year.
But
Think about that.
But as far as in the business today, I mean, are you for it or against it? I mean, you think guys should be able to use it?
I think they should be able to use it under supervision of a doctor.
Okay.
And that's what I had. I was under supervision the whole time. I had my blood work done. I've got the cleanest blood of anybody. The doctor said to me, the last doctor I went to, and I had him doing my blood work because he's a top nutritionist, and he said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I haven't seen blood this clean of anybody over the age of 25 in the last 10 years. And it's mainly because of the way I eat and organic. I don't do anything anymore. I'm more holistic right now. Now I don't need that, But occasionally, I would do whatever I had to do in that scenario to be able to get to the next show. Because you know what? When I was on that radio show, they said to me, well, who do you blame for this? You blame Vince McMahon? And I'm like, forget it. First of all, back up on that. Vince McMahon don't make anybody do anything. Okay, you do what you choose to do. You make your own choices. He may make you lose or win. Or he don't care about winning, but he may make you lose.
Right.
But that's about it. After that, everybody makes their own choices. And who I blame it on is the fans. Okay? And I'm not talking about the wrestling fans. I'm talking about the football fans. They want to see guys get hit so hard that their helmet pops off. They want to see guys knock it out of the park. Tell me when baseball was more popular than when Sosa and what the hell's his name?
Mark McGwire.
McGwire. We're knocking him out of the park. Tell me when baseball was hotter than that.
I couldn't remember any time in recent time other than that time.
Never. Except you go back to when Maris was going for it back in the 60s. The bottom line is that people want to see their heroes out there. They don't want to hear they're hurt. Okay, if you're an LA Lakers fan and you live in Atlanta and the Lakers come to Atlanta, if Kobe Bryant ain't playing that night, how hot are you?
Pretty hot.
Oh!
You don't want to be there at that point.
So what I'm trying to say to you, and it's funny because they were busting Clemens' chops, which I laughed about that. I mean, because when everybody was busting Barry's balls big time, and Sosa and McGwire and all those guys, I said, so what, you don't think Roger Clemens is on the gas? I mean, the guy's throwing a faster fastball in his 40s than he did in his 30s? You're kidding, right? And no, not Roger. Now Roger's under so much scrutiny. He may, if he ends up being perjured himself, he may go to jail, like the track runner. The female track runner who just went to jail for perjury.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It is what it is, and I think people should be able to make their own decisions. Where I don't think it should be, and if you want to test it, it should be tested absolutely in high schools and in colleges.
Sure.
Because after that point, you are where you are. Then you're paying your own bills, you're paying your own taxes, and I think it should be levels. Like if your level's a 72 instead of a 10, that's not fair.
Right.
But I'll guarantee you Barry's level's not that high. Barry's just an asshole and everybody hates him. I mean, it's killing the media to go after Roger like this. Now because he's lied. What Roger should have said was, listen, I was 40 years old. I was trying. Do you think that makes me any less talented? You think that guy worked? You think many people work harder than Roger Clemens did?
I don't know.
I mean, in baseball, that guy was a workaholic, man. I mean,
he's a legend.
But that's what I'm saying. And the bottom line is, let's go to the Benoit thing. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
I was actually just going to ask you about that. I'm glad you brought it up.
Steroids. I mean, that's all we heard about. Then when they found out, because the college, whatever it was, that medical institute that did the study on Chris's body, they found out that Chris's brain was the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer patient.
Yeah, that was Chris Nowinski's group.
Yes, right, Chris's. The bottom, because Chris has had a ton of concussions. That's one of the reasons why he quit. because he could have been a pretty good name in wrestling because he had natural heat, you know, from Tough Enough on out. But the bottom line is that we never heard about it. We heard it one time and it was dead.
Right.
So steroids is a witch hunt. Should it be witch hunted in high schools and college? Absolutely. But if you're going to witch hunt baseball, please witch hunt friggin' football. I mean, you're kidding me. All those guys are jacked. They know when to get off. But one of the things that they were talking about on one of the games, and they had I can't remember. I was watching ESPN, and they had I can't remember the guy's name, but he was going because he's an ex-football player, you know, all-pro football player, announcer, and he said, "You want to know something? Baseball is going through what they got to go through. Our people don't care. Ours is a blood sport. They don't care. They don't want to hear the guys hurt. Jack that son of a bitch up and get him in the game."
Absolutely. Can't let the fans down.
Well, there you go. So the fans, that's who you blame. Don't blame the players. Don't blame the players for trying to seduce the fans. You know, and I give it to a guy like Shawn Michaels big time because I know he ain't been on the gas in years, and he keeps going. I mean, he's. I'll tell you one thing, and I'm going to put the plug in. He does YRG, by the way, and he actually sent me on his book, which is I got to plug his book too because it's phenomenal.
Go for it.
I don't know if you read it, but I took it to me when I was in Afghanistan a couple of weeks ago, and I read the whole thing. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. But he sent me the DDP. God bless you, man. YRG, it works. So does Jesus.
Is he the only one in WWE that's using it, or you got?
No. There's a few guys. Hurricane's got it now, and Jimmy Yang's got it. I don't know if Ken Kennedy's got it. Mr. Kennedy.
Right.
King Kennedy. Kenny Anderson. I sent it to him. Cody's in the damn book. I mean, look at Yoga for Regular Guys. You'll find Cody Runnels. He is in the book. So not Cody Rhodes, it's Cody Runnels, though.
Right.
Yeah. So you know, Cody gets it, and I also sent it to Randy Orton, and the Undertaker. Like I said, I don't know if they're actually doing it.
I heard Undertaker was taking up some yoga. So I don't know if that was your program or what, but I did hear about that quite a while ago.
I don't think so because I talked to him when they were here in Staples Center, and we talked for a little bit about it. And his body just, you know, I mean, you can't run like the Taker does.
Right.
You know, for God, how long has it been? 20 years. You know, it's getting damn close to 20 years. You know that, and this is a guy who's not 5'9". I mean, he's 6'9". He's damn close to 300 pounds, and that is so hard on your body. And he don't, you know, when he goes out there. He bumps, he bangs, you know. So his body is sore, you know? And that's another thing. Is just keep going. And you know, like I say, you could tell by looking at me. You know, I was never all yoked up. That was never my gimmick to be a bodybuilder. I was in it for the rehabilitation of my body. You know, and that's a part of it. No one talks about it in the media because that's not colorful. Wait a minute, that would be a reason to take it.
Yeah.
You know,
they pick and choose what they want to talk about. That's pretty obvious.
You know, it comes down to, I think anyone over the age of 21 should have a choice to do what they want to do within certain levels. Like there's some people that have a ridiculous high testosterone level. They're just born with it.
Right.
You know, so that's my whole issue on that, and I think it should be controlled. And one of the things that a lot of people are mad at Mark Marrow for sounding off and saying his thing, but say what they want about, you know, what Mark said or did. But he got it regulated in Florida in high schools.
Really?
There is testing in high schools in the state of Florida now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that happened with one guy opening his mouth over and over and over again.
Yeah, he was out there on pretty much every TV outlet there was, definitely telling.
Well, they hit him because he would talk. I mean, they all called me. You know, I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna make when I've got the healthiest thing on the planet that I'm pushing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. First of all, I'm not gonna use Chris, who, you know, people say what they want about Chris and how it went down. I didn't know that guy. You know, I knew one of the kindest, you know, sweetest guys that, in the business to me. Would stand up and walk over and shake your hand, and, was a really good guy. That's the Chris I know.
Right.
And I didn't know when his shit started to go. And this is, again, you're running really hard, and people don't understand how hard we really work to entertain the people.
Right. Definitely got to be hard work with the scheduling and all that kind of stuff. I can only imagine.
Well, that's another reason why I ice. I mean, there's times where there was a guy who I just saw who came to one of my workouts, because if you're in LA, and if you go to yrgworkout.com, and on the tabs, I got a bunch of tabs on the side. One says Do YRG Live. You click that, you'll be able to see where you could actually do it with me live. And I do it in a park outside here in Playa Vista, which is right next to the LAX airport, right next to Marina Del Rey. I also do it at a place called Equinox. My partner, Yoga Doc, he does it in Atlanta. The guy, which we were talking about earlier, Gary, before we got on the show, this guy Arthur.
Oh yeah, great story there. Tell us about him.
If you're listening right now and you can pull up yrgworkout.com, I talk for about a minute and a half. Just hit me on mute. You can listen to it later, but just watch the video while we're talking right now. That's the first video, because I say, don't take my word for it. Hit play. I kept going, hit play below me. I kept going, beneath me. Doing the one, the promo when I come up. I go, hit play below me. My buddy goes, you can't say below me. I go, fuck. So I said, Bobby, hit play beneath me, and you'll see one of the most inspirational stories you've ever seen. What do you think about that, Gary?
I want to say I think it's one of the most phenomenal videos I've ever seen. I mean, like you said, you and I talked off air. You got me sold. I'm ready to sign up and do this thing immediately. After I saw this video of Arthur Borman, I mean, this guy lost over 150 pounds. And
it was 130.
130. Okay.
130 pounds. So let me just give them the details with this.
Break it down for us.
Anybody who buys the YRG workout, first of all, I'm not selling anything. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. If someone wants to jump on, cool. If they don't, I don't give a damn. I only want to deal with people who want to be moved to action. And that's where you are right now because of this. And like I was saying, anybody who buys the YRG workout DVDs, they get an Own Your Life audiobook, which is one of my inspirational CDs that I put together. And it deals with SmackDown, which is my goal-setting acronym. SmackDown. Go figure, right?
Right.
Yes.
Watch out for WWE's lawyers.
Yeah, I know, right? You're gonna get a lawsuit in the mail after this.
Well, you know what? It would be great. I actually would love it because it would be great promo. And they would have a really tough time putting SmackDown, the wrestling show, with SmackDown, the goal-setting system, which the S meet being specific. You got to have a specific goal. It needs to be measurable over a period of time. The A stands for achievable. You don't want to set yourself up to fail. The C stands for compatible. It's got to be compatible to your lifestyle. And if your goal is to lose 50 pounds in 6 months or whatever, and you're still eating ho-hos and donuts, guess what? It's not compatible. So you've got to make it compatible, and then when you get it compatible, you got to keep it going. So that's SMACK, specific, measurable, achievable, compatible, keep it going. Then you got to do it. You got to own it. You got to write it down now. That's the down. So anybody who buys the YRG workout DVDs, they get this audiobook. And I actually tell a story about Cody Rhodes. Back when he was 18 years old, going for the state championship in a section I call Failure is Not an Option. And Cody and I go back to when he was a kid, and I talk about that. And his dad is my mentor and one of my closest friends. So, I get into different things, adversities that Diamond Dallas Page got through, but I use other people's, anecdotes too. And I work it into this inspirational audiobook. So now you've got the workout and you've got the inspiration. So I sent this guy, Arthur, an email. Everybody who buys this DVD, For now, I'm not saying when I blow up my infomercial and it blows up huge, I'll have the time to do this. And it's almost getting too much for me now because I'm selling quite a few of these things. But every one of them still, I send them an email. It comes directly from me. And if they answer me back and they have intelligence response, which everyone pretty much does,
right,
I answer them back. Arthur's was so heartfelt that I wanted to know more about his condition. He sent me back the next email that said he was married, 3 kids, 5 cats. He works 70 hours a week as a vice principal for a high school that he teaches the kids during the day who have learning disabilities and adults at night. That's how he gets to 70 hours a week. Now you have to understand, I grew up with ADD and dyslexia. I was reading at a 3rd grade level at the age of 30. So that immediately hit me. Then I found out that he was also a disabled veteran. And I just got back from Afghanistan. I was there for 2 weeks or 10 days. I'm going to Iraq for 12 days, March 9th. You know, I'm a big supporter of our military, and I hate the war. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. But you know what? Those guys got to be there. They have no control over being there. So I'm going to go there and entertain them. I'm going to speak to them about living life at 90%. I take them through the YRG workout. They love it. And I sign autographs and do, you know, the Mickey Mouse and tattoo stuff. So the bottom line is Arthur tells me he's a disabled veteran and that he was a paratrooper for 14 years and that he was all that wear. And those guys aren't gliding down. They're coming down like boom. And like wrestling, you can't fake gravity. When those guys hit the ground, they're hitting with an extra 50 pounds to 100 pounds of gear on their back when they hit. So his knees, back, ankles, over a period of time, it's like wrestling. Go wear you down. So he was going to retire, and as it turned out, he got that first call for that first Gulf War back in 89 or 90, one of the two. I can't remember the exact date. So he's off to the Persian Gulf. A couple incidents over there, as beat up as his body was. One that happened when his helicopter was coming in and crash landed. And before you know it, he's sent home a disabled veteran. Now, what he told me at the time, he was morbidly obese, and he considered himself a piece of furniture. I was like, wow. I'm like, Arthur, send me a picture of you. And he sends me this picture of himself wearing my Diamond Cutter T-shirt. And he's got knee braces on, a back brace on, and he's got those canes that wrap around your wrist, and he's leaning on them. He's 5 foot, his son put 5'8" on the video, but he's actually like 5'6", and 297 pounds. He had a belly that came out like a balloon. And I was like, oh, my God, how am I going to help this guy? I mean, the workout's great, and anybody can do it. I made this workout so that if you can bend over and pick up your keys or reach up and change a light bulb, you can do the workout. But I also made it for the total warrior. So you just got to modify it to your own degree. So I knew I had the workout for him, because he could use a chair to bend over. And, I mean, there's so many ways to modify things. It's unbelievable. And I thought, but it's eating. Eating is such a huge part of this, what you put in your mouth. Remember I told you that the 3 things we control is how we react, how we adapt, and how we breathe. The other thing we control is what we put in our mouths.
Right.
Nobody makes you eat the ho-hos. Nobody makes you eat that 7th piece of pizza.
Yeah.
The bottom line is you do. No one makes you drink that stupid soda. And diet is as bad, that's as bad as the other shit. I mean, soda is friggin' poison. And you're talking to a guy who still likes to have a beer, will drink a bottle or 2 of wine, and still likes to have a little Jack once in a while.
Hell yeah.
The bottom line, I still got to have I still got to enjoy myself, but I know how to play it's smart with my body too. And the bottom line is that I just come across an incredible eating plan. And notice I don't use the word diet because diets don't work. This guy is 78 years old who gave this to me. He's a nutritionist, Dr. Fred Bishy, and he can still run 10 miles on the beach. So I'm going to listen to that guy. So he put me on this eating program, and I did it myself. And I wasn't trying to lose any weight. I was just trying to get lean. So I think I want to lose about 6 pounds and just get really, really, really lean. Well, I weighed myself. I go, man, I'm getting way too skinny. 6 weeks later, I'm 22 pounds down. I called the doc up. I'm like, Doc, I'm getting too skinny. It's going to kill my gimmick, man. I can't look like a yogi, dude. I don't even do yoga. I do YRG. And he's going, I get it. He goes, how many carbs are you eating? I go, well, I took them out of my diet. He goes, put them back in. Come on, are you stupid? I went, I guess that is sort of stupid. All right. So I started rearranging. I put back 15 pounds, like bang, like right away. And I stay right around 230, sometimes 235, and I'll even go down as low as 230, and still feel really good. Sure. But I knew if he really stuck to the eating plan, that he could lose weight. How much, I did not know. I sent him the eating plan. I said, hey, Arthur, do you think you can try this? He sent me back 4 powerful words, and that's all he sent back. He didn't say, I'll give it a try. He didn't say, I think I can do it. He said, I can do this. I said, send me your phone number. Now, Arthur is one of many people that I've just picked up the phone because of they were moved to action, right, and called them up, and we talked for over an hour. Arthur got it. But I explained to him that as good as the YRG workout is, it's 5% of the equation. As good as his eating plan is, it's 5% of the equation. That's 10%. The 90% is right in your head. I'm writing a book right now called Live Life at 90%. Nobody can live life at 100. Life's 10% of what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. You control how you react, adapt, breathe, and what you put in your mouth. He got it. The first month, and that video that you'll see if you are at yrgworkout.com, that video, they caught him. His son was taking a picture of his other son, and some cameras where the movie is. That was January 17th of last year, right, and he calls that the Sasquatch video. Where the reporter will be talking, and all of a sudden Sasquatch runs behind in the distance. That's what he felt like, Sasquatch, the way he would move. And we only have that video because his son was playing with the camera and happened to get him. So that's that opening shot. And the next shot is 1 month later when he decided to start filming his progression because he saw that story about that guy, fat man walking.
Right.
And that fat guy walked across the country, never lost a pound. I mean, wow. I mean, I can't really seem to lose it. Well, stop eating the donuts, stupid.
Put them down.
I mean, I always say when I talk to people, what do you want? What is now forget your goal, forget your dream, what do you want? And when you find what that person wants, then you use it to help them.
Right.
That's what I did with Arthur. You know what he wanted? He wanted to see his kids grow up. That's not a pretty big deal. I want to see my kids grow up. I was with a mom Saturday, and she's 287 pounds. She'll be a woman on my site. Will she respond the way Arthur did, or the way Dylan, who was a 16-year-old kid who was 292 pounds, who lost 92 pounds in 6 months? Will he respond like that? Will she respond? I don't know. But I sat there with her and her 13-year-old son, who's 5'2" and 195 pounds. So they're both heavy. She's really heavy. And I talked to them, and I took them through the workout. We filmed the whole thing. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with her. I'm always interested to see with you, Gary. If you want to step up, you want to, just to get to these people, you watch that video, you already know. By the end of that video, Arthur is running
down the street.
No canes. And on that video, he's only down 130 pounds. He actually ended up losing a total of 144. And now he wants to get around stick around 160. So he wants to stick around. The weight is not important. Once you've lost the major part of weight, now where do you feel comfortable but strong? I mean, Arthur can do things that I can't do. Just to let you guys know, he taught his first, not yoga, because we don't do yoga, we do YRG. He taught his first YRG class in Baltimore, Maryland, last Thursday, almost a year to the day, within 2 weeks of a year of the first day he did it when he started documenting this.
Right.
Pretty crazy, man.
That's insane. And then, like you were talking about Dylan, who lost 92 pounds in 6 months. I mean, these pictures you have up here are absolutely incredible, and the stories that go with them.
And if you recall, the whole beginning of this thing, how did I get into it? Was it to lose weight? No, it was never to lose weight. It was to hold back the hands of time. It was to grab onto my dream, because I hadn't fulfilled my dream of being a world champion yet. I've been a top guy. I've been on top of the mountain. I'd wrestled Hulk. I'd wrestled them all. And got put over by Savage on out since 97. You know, the bottom line is you earn getting put over. You're either pushed into that spot because you're young, you got a great body, or if you're 43, they don't give you shit.
Right.
You earned it. And it was never Eric Bischoff who made that call. It was Kevin Nash. He was booking at the time. And I was more of a transition champion because, I mean, it wasn't like I was going to hold the strap like Orton can.
Right.
You know?
Guy. Yeah.
And just to mention Randy Orton, who I think is the best worker in the business today, A to Z. But I thought the first time I saw him when he was a kid, and, you know, Cowboy, I learned so much from Cowboy. You know, I mean, as a person and as a worker, really loved his dad. And I was down there in OVW, and I just saw Randy work, and I was like, that kid can go. And I walked up behind him, and he was talking to his dad, and I was like, Cowboy, give him a big hug. I didn't even know that he was there. He's lost so much weight, and he's, you know, he doesn't want to carry all that weight, you know.
Right.
And he goes, you take care of my boy up there, DDP. I said, the same way you took care of me, brother. Randy was doing different YRG moves with me back when I was doing it around the ring. He goes, Diamond, he goes, you know, show me what you're doing, man. My hip's killing me. I was like, Randy, they're going to laugh at you. He goes, I don't care. He goes, as long as it works.
Right. I
said, well, it works. But I'm 46 years old out here, dude. You're 22.
Right.
So, you know, the bottom line is I never did it for weight loss. It's sort of like, you know, Viagra. It was never developed to get for erections. It was developed. It was developed for people's hearts, to get more blood to their heart. They didn't realize it would get more blood everywhere. Just one of those extra added bonuses.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of WCW, what do you think was the downfall of WCW closing up back in 2001?
Well, first of all, it never would have closed up if it would have had someone, if Ted was still involved, or if anybody that was, you know, half-assed intelligent was involved in the whole thing. There was a guy named Jamie Kilner who came in there, and he was from Warner Brothers, and he did not want, he hated wrestling. You know, did not want TBS to be known as the Wrestling Channel and TNT. And bottom line is, Eric Bischoff was coming in to buy it. He had $50 million. They had agreed on a price, and when Bischoff was buying the company with his group, he wanted to take it off TBS and TNT and take it someplace cool like Fox.
Right.
But they wouldn't let him. Brad Siegel would not let us. I know the inside shit because I was there. Yeah. And I mean, I was there like right in the room. That's where I heard the story. You know, the bottom line is Bish, at that time, you know, he had it all together. He was ready to go. He was going to take our contracts, everything. So he's going to pay $50 million. And Brad Siegel said, you've got to stay on TBS for 10 years. We need a 10-year deal from you. Because it was the highest rated show on their television.
Right.
So they wanted to keep it. So they agreed. 10 or 12 days before the contracts were all supposed to be signed, Jamie Kilner came into control, pulled Brad Siegel in the office and said, what are we doing? You know, with WCW. He goes, we're selling it for $50 million. You know, we're in the red on this right now for this year. I think they were in the red like 70 or 60, whatever the hell it was. You have to remember, the overhead got so big when we were making hundreds of millions, right. You know, it didn't matter. But when the ratings go from a 7 to a 4, by the way, the ratings were a 4, average of 3.8 to a 4.2. That's like a good week for Vince. Right. He ain't pulling that on SmackDown. He sure as shit ain't pulling that on ECW.
Oh, no way.
We were pulling that going against Vince, and he was hot as shit at the time. So you tell me, I mean, just go back and look at it. I mean, it's not like I can make this shit up. It's there. It's fact.
Right.
So You don't kill a show on cable doing a 3.8 to a 4, especially when you're not going to have to pay for the show anymore.
Right.
Like, he's going to buy it for $50 million, and there must have been between Goldberg, Hulk, me, Nash, there ought to be 30-some plus $1 million worth of contracts that they had to settle with. Jamie Kilner said, we're canceling wrestling now after 27 years. Eric was like, please tell him, don't tell him he's going to cancel. Let me sell it to Fox first. But his ego wouldn't let him. By the way, Jim Kilner got fired like pretty much immediately after not too long after this deal went down. And they did not take the $50 million, plus had to pay all the guaranteed contracts.
Right.
It's like instead of selling your house for $400,000 when you owe like $350, but you want $100,000, you say, oh, I'm going to burn it down. I don't have insurance. What the hell? I'm just going to burn it down anyway.
Right.
Nash gave that example. I was like, God, dude, that's like exactly what it's like. And I didn't really, I cared, but I didn't care because I knew I was going to WWF, and all my dreams, they all ended there. I had to work a WrestleMania.
Right.
I should have been manifesting, I got to work a WrestleMania on top. Because I never thought what would have happened because I'm the model employee. I didn't think that, when they came up with the idea of the stalker angle, I didn't like it at all. It didn't work for me. But the way Vince turned it, it sounded like it could. I wanted to do People's Champion versus People's Champion.
Right.
That's money. Me and Rock cutting promos against each other? Oh, my God. Me staying as that babyface heel? Forget about it. Would have been huge. But I dropped the ball. When people say to me, what do you think with Vince McMahon trying to ruin your career? Vince McMahon didn't try to ruin my career. He doesn't try not to make money.
Right.
He just wanted to prove that he could reinvent me. And you can't. You can't reinvent Dusty Rhodes. You can't reinvent Ric Flair. You can't reinvent Hulk Hogan. You can't reinvent Diamond Dallas Page. I mean, Kevin Nash was still Diesel when he came in was Kevin Nash. That's what pissed him off so bad.
Right.
Razor Ramon was Scott Hall. Scott Hall was Razor Ramon.
People knew.
So I mean, that's why it got over so big. Hulk, when he went from red and yellow to black, he's still the same guy. He just stopped saying, say your prayers, take your vitamins.
Yeah, he went the other way. Told
yeah, but he was still the same guy.
Right.
When I had to do the stalker thing, I was playing a part, and a lot of people loved it. To me, I think they're smoking crack. Because I didn't really, you got as a heel, the babyface has to sell. And why would Taker sell, considering that's not his gimmick, and when you go after his wife? So that was like, I really didn't think that through.
Do you think it would have fit better with somebody else? In other words, then
Absolutely. If I was talking if I was talking Rock's wife, But the bottom line is, I thought to myself, like, Vince, are you looking at my wife? I mean, why would I stalk somebody else's? I mean, it's wrestling works. Wrestling works when it's believable, right?
Sure.
Like, you remember that match I had with Goldberg?
Yeah.
That was a classic.
Dude, everybody, I mean, if you didn't watch wrestling and you were watching that match, you're like, these guys really trying to, is this real? It's suspended belief. And that's what wrestling is all about.
Right.
Suspending belief.
What
movies, that's what movies are about.
Right. What's your take on the business right now? I mean, how do you measure with the two big companies? You think they're going in the right direction, or?
I don't watch enough to judge. There's certain people I like to watch. I've always been a fan of Shawn Michaels. I think Shawn Michaels may go down as the best ever. I really believe that for the lineage that he has had over all the years. I've been able to do what he's done and do it the way he's done it. I think he may have to go down as the best ever. I mean, I even think better than Flair. He won't stick around like Flair did. Flair would have left at 44. Flair, it'd be really tough between him and Flair. But, Flair kept going. And the people love him out there still. And some people say, please tell him to go away now. No, that's a lot. But, the people as a whole respect the Nature Boy. And I have no love lost with him, neither one of us for each other. But, you know, as Ric Flair and Dallas Page, but as a nature boy, I got a lot of respect for that character. And, yeah, that needs to be, you know, put in a package somewhere and go away and just woo once in a while. You know, just, he looks bad doing it.
Right. Now, what about TNA? Where do you see them at? I mean, do you keep up with any of them at all, or?
I will watch certain people. You know, Nash is one of my boys. I mean, he don't do a lot there, you know, but he's one of my boys, one of my closest friends forever. But I'm a big fan of Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
A big fan of Christian. I mean, if it wasn't for working with Christian when I was in WWE, you could look at that WrestleMania match in WrestleMania 18 that me and Christian had with no heat on it at all.
Second match on the card.
European title match, right?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And we had the people in the palm of our hands. That was the night that Michael P.S. Hayes pulled me aside and said, "You turn Vince around. He is going to go with you now." You know, he goes, "I've never seen anybody turn Vince around like this." I mean, that's where I could show, hey, guess what? I'm 46 years old. I can still go.
Right.
You know, I got to have someone who's going to go with me, though, going to work with me, and Christian did. And we had a hell of a match. And then the next TV, I almost broke my neck with Bobby Holly. And that was my, you know, he almost knocked me out. That's a classic story. Have you ever heard this story?
No, tell us.
It was my last match with WWE. Was Bobby and I had a really good match, maybe about a month before that. So they wanted to put us together again.
Right.
And during the thing, we come up with a little spot we were going to do and how we were going to get into the finish. At the end, I'd hit him with a diamond cutter, and after we'd gone through it, and we get to the corner, and I'm lighting him up at the corner, and I'm barely touching him. Because I throw a great punch, look like I ripped your head off, and it barely touched you.
Right. And
I threw him in a turnbuckle. Bobby is the opposite of that. He ain't got the name Hardcore Holly for nothing. And when I came running into it, I thought his foot was all the way out, and he stiffed me at the last second and just whacked my neck. And my neck was so screwed up anyway that it stunned me a little bit. And then normally someone goes to clothesline me, I'm gone. I'm gone before they ever get there. But he got me. So now I get stunned with that. Now I'm knocked out. But I'm awake. But I'm out on my feet. And there's nothing scarier than looking up and seeing a red light, and you're thinking, uh-oh, I know I'm on TV. I'm in an arena somewhere. I have no idea where I am in this match. I don't know if I have 5 minutes left, 10, 2, 1, I don't know. And Bobby, I go, you got me with that one, dude. He picked me up and slammed me, and as he's going to cover me, I go, dude, I have no idea where I am. He goes, I'm going up the top, stop me. Now, as he goes climbing up the top, I remember, I'm going to dive on the ropes. He's going to nut shot him. I'm going to suplex him off the top. But I'm on Queer Street. You know, I'm like, oh. So I dive on the ropes. I come over to him. I hook him. Climb up to that second rope. I start to put my foot on the top rope, and I went, you know what? I'm not going to do that. This guy's giving me his body. I got to lay him flat. Because that's the whole thing. We work snug, really snug at times, but we got to take care of each other.
Absolutely.
And my whole goal was to lay Bobby flat. I wasn't thinking about me. I figured I just left flat because I'd done it so many times, but I didn't. I over-rotated and landed on the top of my shoulders, and I almost broke my neck. And when I came down, when I hit and it blew off of him, it was like jackknife and exploding. I heard him go, oh! I'm going, oh! And as I'm laying on his side, I'm going, God, please, please. You know, I really thought, please move my fingers, move my toes. Because I'd been in that position one other time before, and I was scared. I was scared to death, man. And all of a sudden, my fingers started moving a little bit because I thought that shoot come down my arms, through my fingers, through my toes. I was like, oh, God, thank you. And I'm hearing him, like, moaning. I'm thinking, what the hell is he bitching about? I know I laid him flat. And he goes, you hurt? And he goes, yeah. I go, let's go home. So bing, bang, boom, and we end with me hitting him with a diamond cutter, and I point out to the crowd. The place goes crazy. I hold my neck. I can't move my head down.
Oh, man.
I get to the back. You know, we always talk after the match and thank each other, you know, and Bobby came up to me and goes, D, he goes, I'm so sorry I caught you with that boot. And I was like, it ain't checkers, dude. Screw it, you know. And he goes, but I know. And I'm sitting in the chair. And I'm just like, I can feel my whole body becoming rigor mortis. And he goes, but I know I got you that clothesline. I'm sorry about that clothesline, man. I look at his bicep, which is about 19 inches.
Right.
And I can see my jaw print in his, like, right at where his elbow bends at the bottom of his bicep. He goes, I know I got you with that damn clothesline because I thought I tore my bicep. And he goes, but you got me back. I said, how the hell did I get you back? By this time, all the boys are standing around. And he goes, when you hit me with that suplex off the top, I don't know what you did, but your foot came around and hit me so hard in the dick, I thought my dick was on fire. Everybody just blew laughing. You know, I was like, well, hey, sorry. He goes, I'll survive. And I walked over to the trainer. I said, I got to go get an MRI tomorrow, bro. I go, I'm hurt. Right. And what happened, I found I had 3 vertebrae that were all pushed up against my spinal canal. I had 3 bone bursts, but over the period of time. And that I did not tear that vertebrae, I should say tear that spinal canal with that bump, knowing, and I've got it in slow-mo 9 different angles, that I did not tear it, and I'm not a quadriplegic like poor Droz. It's a miracle. And, you know, at that point, Vince would not let me come back and wrestle. And that's where I really started. When I retired, I put YRG to a different level.
Right.
And that's when I started writing the book, Yoga for Regular Guys. But I had planned on sending it out as Yoga for Regular Guys and branding it YRG, because if you read Yoga for Regular Guys, you'll see all the way through it, YRG, YRG, YRG. I was branding it right there, YRG, because it's all about how you adapt to the situation. And that's what I started to do. But my neck got so much stronger and so much more flexible that I thought, when Nash called me up about doing the thing with TNA, I thought, you know what? I will go back for that run. I want to go back and show what I can still do at 49 years old.
Right.
Or 48 years old. I think 48 to 49 I did that. And, man, I tore it down with Raven. I had some good matches there. It wasn't stuff I did when I was in my early 40s, but pretty damn good for a guy who's 49 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think,
but it was
you have
YRG.
anything left in you at all for even one more match, or?
Right now I wouldn't even think about it, because now that I know that my infomercial is going to be, we're right there. I know it's just like this. I am manifesting it to happen. I know it's going to happen. When everybody thought I was never going to be a top guy, I knew I was going to be a top guy.
Right.
I'm telling you guys right now that 5 years from right now, you'll be talking about it on one of your shows, and you'll say, God, I heard DDP doing this or DDP doing that. It's going to dwarf what I did in wrestling. And for what I was lucky enough, and I'm really blessed enough to have been able to achieve in professional wrestling, it's going to be dwarfed by what happens with YRG, because it isn't about just affecting people. You know, and I had some unbelievable magic moments as a professional wrestler, and stories that people have told me that, you know, how I moved them. But now I move them to action. Now when people say, what is the Diamond Dallas Page brand now? And for anybody who knows Pat Croce, you know who Pat Croce is?
No.
The old Philadelphia 76ers coach.
Well, he wasn't the coach. He's the guy.
Was not.
He was the owner.
The owner. Okay.
Yes. He went from taping the ankles. He's a physical therapist. That's what he is.
Right.
And then they opened a business of, he opened up businesses of physical therapy. But he went from taping the ankles of the 76ers to owning them. He is one of the coolest, hippest cats I've ever met. He's also an inspirational speaker. So for anybody who knows who Pat Croce is, if they didn't tell him, I said, the Diamond Dallas Page brand is Pat Croce meets Jack LaLanne meets Ozzy Eppin Osbourne. Now, and what that means is that I'm all about fitness, inspiration, and I'll throw an F-bomb every once in a while. At the most inappropriate time or appropriate. The bottom line is that it's all about, to me, moving people to action. And once this infomercial comes out and I make it a reality, then it'll turn into its own. It's a natural. I've already had 3 different people approach me about doing a reality show based on everything, but I can't do it until I do the infomercial.
Right,
because
get it out there.
You got to have the infomercial out first because, it's going to cost me millions to do the infomercial to get it up and going. A reality show costs a couple $100,000.
Right.
You don't risk something this big on, maybe bad planning. Everything's got to work together.
Right.
In my acting career, I'm still acting. I just talked to Rob Zombie the other day, who, by the way, is still doing YRG. Still organic juicing, all the stuff that I took him through 4 years ago. He's still doing it. Anybody who's read the Yoga for Regular Guys book, Rob wrote the foreword. And it starts out, yoga, give me an effing break. But then he gets into how strong and how powerful it is for your body and your mind, and how he calls me I got that book right over here. It's such a classic thing, and I wanted to learn it because it's such a classic quote that he gave to me. He said, DDP is the new Jack LaLanne for the hardcore, cynical, regular guy. I'm too cool for that generation. That's a quote from Rob Zombie.
Oh, man.
But I talked to him about he's doing a new movie, biker badass movie. And he goes, God, I don't even know how the hell I could cast you in that. And he's the one who put me in, Devil's Rejects. I didn't read for that. I mean, I was doing YRG with him.
Right.
And he was like, he knew back then. He said, this is gonna be huge. I mean, he dug it right away. And he used to always say, they said, God, you look great, Rob. What are you doing? And even though he knew I called it a YRG, he said, I'm doing yoga, just to see how people would say. They go, oh, isn't that nice? And he'd say, I'm doing it with Diamond Dallas Page. I go, the wrestler?
They couldn't believe it, huh?
Oh, God, it was classic. Steve Austin called me up the other day. He said, he goes, kid, what are you doing? So I was getting my body worked on in Atlanta.
Right.
And he told me a story about him going to dinner with Michael Clark Duncan.
Uh-huh.
And how, what a great guy Michael is, and blah, blah, blah. And he started talking about what he does to work out. And Michael said, yeah, he still lifts weights, but, he's gotten into yoga, and he really loves it.
Right.
And he's going, you're kidding. He goes, no, Steve, you got to try it. He goes, dude. He goes, I've done it. He goes, DDP. He goes, what? He goes, yeah, man, you got to talk to Diamond Dallas Page about it. Diamond Dallas Page got he came up with his own thing. He calls it YRG. He goes, Diamond Dallas Page, get out. He couldn't believe it, Classic, man.
So you got Steve Austin on board with the YRG.
Well, no, Stevie, it's for him. The one I think I took him too hard with it,
right.
And I think that it's all about getting his heart rate up, right. And my gear is totally geared towards getting your heart rate up. But that day, for some reason, he was working so hard, he was sweating his ass off. Could not get his heart rate up past 120. It was amazing. He was the first person I had that problem with. And, I just took it as a sign. All I know is he's pitching me. And I know eventually I'm going to get him. Eventually I'm going to get him. It's inevitable. Well, it comes down to feeling good,
Absolutely.
It comes down to your body feeling good.
He's definitely got his nagging injuries, I'm sure.
Oh, my God. He's 10 years younger than me, dude. And I'd rather be in my body.
Really?
Yeah. He's going through a lot. That he had to do the neck operation.
Yeah.
Anytime you cut your neck and then you fuse it, ain't nothing natural about that.
No way.
I mean, the guys who keep working, and Steve did. I mean, that's tough. I mean, you look at, there's so many guys. How many guys got broken, fused necks out there that are wrestling right now?
None, to my knowledge.
None?
I don't know of any.
I think that didn't one of the Hardys? I know. Well, maybe Waddle retired. I know Angle. Right. Angle's had his fuse. Nash has had his fuse.
Benoit have it?
Benoit has his fuse.
I think Rhino. I know Rhino.
Rhino's had his fuse. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of guys out there still working.
Right.
And you can go, but at some point in time, your body, you got to. It just takes. We're all human beings. And you've got to find a way to hold back the hands of time.
Absolutely. Well, I know we're getting close to the end here. Tell everybody one final time how they can get your program.
You go to yrgworkout.com and pull up the store, and you can see a bunch of different stuff all around it. go to Transformations and Results to see some of the stories. Watch that video on yrgworkout.com first about Arthur, the disabled veteran. So, Gary, before we leave, tell these people, what are you going to do? Because when I got done talking to Arthur that day, he went on YouTube, and he put a post that's from 2007, February 5th, and he said that he was going to stick with this eating plan and that he was going to continue to do YRG, and he actually made a commitment to do it, every day.
Right.
What are you going to commit to? What's your goals?
I want to drop this. I'm 292 pounds, and I'm definitely ready to get in shape, lose this weight.
What does that mean?
And be healthy again.
Specifically, what do you want?
I want to live better.
What do you want specifically? What do you want to lose? Start with that.
I'd like to lose. I'd like to lose 92 pounds.
How many?
92 pounds.
92 pounds. That's specific.
I'd
like to. And it's all how you envision what you say. When I tell you YRG is going to change the world, dude, I've already seen it in my head. When I was 35 years old and I told people I was going to become a wrestler, the first two guys I told was Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin. We were about to walk out. I was managing them in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You know what they did? They fell down laughing. And I went, fuck you guys. I'm going to the ring. And later, it would take 6 years later. Michael was at WWF and Creative at the time.
Right.
He called me up. I just happened to be home. And I picked up the phone, and he went, damn, son of a bitch, damn. I go, Michael? Like, son of a goddamn. I mean, he just cursed it. I go, Phil, what's the matter? He goes, oh, man. He goes, you know when you want to call somebody, but you don't want them to answer the phone because you don't think they'll be there? I went, yeah. I go, do you want me to hang up so you can leave a message? He goes, nah, damn it, you're on the phone now. He goes, I got to tell you, man. He goes, never in my life have I been so proud to eating so much crow. I just had a match with Sting, and it was before I blew up. It was like in 96, early 96.
Right.
I just about doing that run. I was just about to do that run with Eddie. And I just put Sting over in Charlotte, and we went about 12 minutes, and the people were in it. And he called me up, and he said, all the boys are talking about you up here. He goes, you have made your statement. He goes, I'm so proud of you. And that meant the world to me because Michael P.S. Hayes was, I didn't really know his work. By the way, anybody who's listening, you want to get that WCCW tape that the WWF just put out.
Right.
That story between, the Von Erichs and P.S. and Jimmy Jam and all the guys that were there, I mean, wow. It is one of the best. I just got off the phone with Johnny Ace. I said, bro, I want to see Dusty's. I want to see Superstars. I want to see Jake's. Eventually they're going to make one of me. They're going to do that WCW stuff, and, it'll be killer,
You still on good terms with WWE?
I didn't leave on bad terms with anybody. They wanted me to stay to be a color commentator.
Right.
No one's ever heard me say one thing bad about anybody up there because, that's not my style.
Right.
If I've got something bad to say, like I'm not saying anything about Flair that I wouldn't say right to his face. It's not like we don't like each other. I do respect the Nature Boy. He does not respect Diamond Dallas Page. And how he couldn't is beyond me. After what I achieved in my career, that he couldn't at least respect Diamond Dallas Page. And I'll tell you where this comes from, the heat comes from.
All right, yeah.
He tried to hold me down for so long when I was coming up that when I blew up, any guy who gets to screw the person who screws him takes it. I didn't. I just wanted the respect of the Nature Boy. And then when I came back from doing Ready to Rumble, they put me in that stupid angle with his son, who was a great kid, really good kid, David. But he couldn't work a lick. Now, his brother Reed, I know he's in a training camp right now. You watch him. I guarantee you he'll be able to work. But David was thrown into a top spot right away that he wasn't ready for. And I went out there, and I could have eaten that kid alive. But I didn't. If you watch the match, it's watchable.
Right.
And when I walked through the curtain, Nate hugged his son and hugged me and thanked me and said, you are a man's man. thank you so much. God bless you. I thought, wow, me and Nate are finally like, so cool. I mean, I got a picture of Nate when he got his head shaved at one time, and his son Reed. They both got their hair shaved. I got a picture with them and with that because I was a mark for nature, just like everybody else.
Sure.
And then when he went and did his book and he buried me, at first it really pissed me off. Later on, it hurt me, because I thought, how could that guy? I thought, what the fuck? But then again, he buried Mick Foley and he buried Bret the Hitman Hart. So I thought, you know what? You're a pretty good company. Be buried with two other guys that, made their mark, so to speak.
Right. It wasn't like it was just all about you and a personal attack to you. So.
Yeah. So it was what it is, and I'm not even mad at them anymore. But I'm just going to call a spade a spade.
Right.
It is what it is.
Absolutely.
So the bottom line is, Gary, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna lose 92 pounds.
I'll tell you what. I want you to really think about this. You got my email.
Yes, sir.
I want you to wait till you get the Own Your Life audiobook. Listen to it. Like Arthur, that guy in the video.
Right.
He still got it in his car a year later.
Still listening to it.
Still listens to it because it's a focal point. Repetition is the mother of learning. He could actually recite it, but just because that's the way he is, Dylan still listens to it. It's you find something that you click into.
Right.
And if it's not me, maybe it's Tony Robbins. Maybe it's that guy, Dr. Wayne Dyer. Maybe it's Zig Ziglar. I don't give a shit who it is. Whoever clicks for you, that's who you should listen. I personally think anybody who's involved in any kind of wrestling will get this.
Sure.
And my next one, Live Life at 90%, you definitely will as well. And it's always finding ways to inspire yourself because we're all human beings. We fall down. But it's not about how many times you fall down that counts.
How many times you get back up.
There you go. It's about how many times you go, you know what? I fell down last night. I say one time I fell down and got I fell off the wagon. I said, dude, you fell off the wagon. You had a concussion. You went into a coma. And now get back up and get on track. That's all.
Absolutely.
Don't be so hard on yourself, whoever it is. So when you get that and you got it down and you listen to it and you send me an email, you write me what you're going to do. Then I'll give you a call and I'll tell you how to do this eating plan if you want to go that way. Or you can always just do calorie counting. Calorie counting, that's the slow way, but you know what? It works. If you eat 4,000 calories and you burn off 2,500, you're going to get fatter.
Sure.
If you eat 2,500 and you burn off 4,000, you're going to lose weight. It's just mathematics.
Very good. Thank you so much, and I personally will be in touch with you shortly.
And if you got any listeners who want to jump on that bandwagon, they could be up there right with you, dude. The more people you have doing it with you, better. And one last thing that I'll tell you, if you go to the YRG workout site and you go to the forums, the blogs, there's a phenomenal support group there. People want to help you. So it's very cool. Listen, boys, it's been your pleasure. I'm out of here.
That's right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
That's pretty cool, huh? I know the audio's a little bit rough, but that's pretty cool to look back 11 years ago at an interview I did with Diamond Dallas Page. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but strap in. Just got another half an hour with this wrestling legend, this Hall of Famer, this guy who's created this amazing DDP Yoga program. Let's now roll the tape. March of 2013. DDP Yoga is 5 years into the future. It's no longer YRG. Now it's DDP Yoga, and they're really starting to gain momentum and pick up steam. Let's roll the tape. Check it out. Joining us right now on the hotline, he's created a great yoga program that's just helped a ton of people. You know him best as the legendary wrestler, the former world champion. On the phone right now, Diamond Dallas Page. Dallas, welcome to the program, sir.
Thanks for having me on, bro. But anytime you put yoga program, you can only call it DDP Yoga.
Okay.
As you know, the tagline is "It ain't your mama's yoga."
I totally understand, and I gotta tell you about this, man, because I've been following everything you've been doing with this stuff, and I just want to say it's tremendous. And I have to ask you, I mean, are you conscious and aware of the great impact that you're making on these people's lives? Because I see the tweets, I see videos of people that are doing this stuff, and they're tweeting to you, and I mean, does it all sink into you, the amount of help that you're giving to these people?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I just you remember Carney Wilson from that the band? What was the name of her band?
Wilson Phillips, yeah.
Yeah, Carney's a good friend of mine. I helped her lose like 70 pounds one of her times. She was losing her weight. She's a great chick. We're good buddies. And she just sent me a text, and it was a video of this woman who they'd seen each other. That's because they're at the acupuncturist. And she just started talking to her. And she goes, yes, I lost like 73 pounds. My husband's lost like 100 pounds, and he had diabetes, and, he's on these medications, and, we've been doing this yoga program. It's called DDP Yoga, and Carney almost fell over. It was just like a random thing. So Carney actually had her, videoed her, and said, tell me what you think about DDP Yoga. And she went on for like 2 minutes. It's like priceless stuff.
Right.
And I'm going to put it up on my YouTube. I'm going to put it up on my Facebook, on my Twitter. It's like a random coming across, and so everything's about, supposed to, everything happens by design, I think, to a certain degree, or happens for a reason.
Sure.
You get to decide whether you go the right way or the wrong way, alternate dimensions, whatever, however you want to think about it. But to me, between that and I got a good feeling for it, but I've been doing this kind of thing all my life. When I was in WCW, I helped like 30 guys get jobs. Right. We're talking about not get a job. We're talking about live a dream.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of it's a thing. I don't really take it seriously.
Right.
Maybe some people would, but because it's just part of what I do. It's who I am, and with Scott Hall and Jake Roberts, what they're going through here right now. It's my buddy Mark Merrow. When you tried to call me in before, I was on the phone with Marvelous Mark Merrow.
Oh, how's he doing?
He's doing amazing. I mean, me and him are like we're like soul brothers. Me and him. I've done a lot of inspirational speaking, and when he first started doing the inspirational speaking, I helped him do a bunch of things, and then I saw I call him a show because it really is. And he does this whole thing, and it's really geared towards anyone at all, but kids. When I first saw him do it, I thought, well, that's sort of neat. It's different, a little corny in places. Then I saw it again, and I went, wow, he's starting to rough out the edges. And by the fifth time I saw him, I said, dude, you're the next Joel Osteen. Because he has a little bit of preacher in him as well.
Yeah.
And he believes, like me, he believes everything he's saying.
Right.
And I have seen some of the Facebook emails he's gotten from students who literally have told him, I was going to kill myself today.
Wow.
But after seeing your presentation, I have a whole, different view on life. And his talk is very powerful. It's very real. And I recommend anyone, because he'll be in schools you won't be able to get into, but you might catch him at a church somewhere. And even if you're not religious, it's worth going to see, because his presentation is strong. And now he's booked solid. He's like 200 plus days a year in schools. He might do 2 or 3 presentations in a day.
Right. It's like a whole new career, but in that career, you get to help out people. You get to make a difference every day. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, we're both. He came up here the other day, about 2 weeks ago, and with Scott, because he'd actually gone by Scott's place and tried to pick him up and take him to church with him. Trying to get him on a different path. And when he heard I was bringing Jake into my house, he was like, dude, are you sure you want to do that? I mean, you've got so many positive things going.
Yeah.
Are you sure you really want to do that? I was like, I'm not sure, but I really think Jake is really, he's turning a corner, and he helped me so much when I was young in the business, and I just feel that, I'm going to give it a shot. And I'd already promised him if he lost like 20 pounds on his own, and he just St. Roberts, he's up to 305 pounds. He's in the worst shape I've ever seen him in. He was brittle. He looked like 100 years old. He moved around like he's 100 years old.
Yeah.
And he turned a little corner, and then when I brought him up here, I call my house DDP's accountability crib. And
Yes.
I brought him up, and he just dove in. He's down 63 pounds. It's the best move I ever made for him and for me because, it's been really inspiring to watch him. And then he had to have that shoulder surgery 5 weeks ago. He's already coming back. He started working out with me yesterday.
Wow.
We did like 25 minutes. Today we did 45. And I'll tell you what, Jake Roberts' mind is clear. I've never seen this guy like this. He's just done an amazing turnaround. He helps him keep moving forward. If he falls down, I'm going to pick him back up and keep him moving forward,
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be okay. I really do. I think he's really turned a major corner. And then when I told Mark that I was bringing Scott in, he was like, hey, I love Scott Hall, but are you really sure? He thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
And Scotty's over 60 days sober now, and he never gone more than 15 days since he was 16, unless he was in the joint or, in rehab. So I think that's pretty damn cool.
It is. It is. You mentioned Jake. I mean, you look at, the pictures and the videos, and you guys did like a nice video you put together showing what he was kind of like before and then after. I mean, it's incredible to see what he looks like now and recently. I mean, he looks so good. And you got the guys tweeting too. I mean, these guys are not only getting better and they're learning social media and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a real turnaround for these guys.
When I first told people, that Jake was coming in, and they heard, well, maybe Scott Hall, and, it was pretty early on, and I didn't give any credence to that at all because I had no idea.
Sure.
But, one of the things that we said, we were going to bring them into the 21st century,
Yes.
And, I've been on the computer since 1996. I mean, like, strong. I had my own website. Nobody had their own website in 1996. I did. But it wasn't me, because I'm the guy who grew up with ADD and dyslexia and was reading and writing at the third grade level at the age of 30. I didn't even teach myself how to read or write until I was like 31 when I read my first book cover to cover. It took me like a year.
Wow.
That's why I understand about, like being as limited as you could be. And I taught myself, how to type. Through Mario teaches typing. It was a video game. It was A-A-A-S-S-S-T-T-T. I mean, that's how I learned,
Right.
And I can type without looking pretty quickly now. But, also, I went to this Eris Learning Center when I was out in Los Angeles for kids, mainly and adults with ADD and dyslexia, and it helped me take it up another level, So, when I said that I was going to help these guys with social media, a lot of people laughed, like, what the hell is that going to do? I'll tell you what it did. It renewed their confidence in who they are.
Right.
Because when Jake Roberts screwed up his shoulder lifting weights, because I got him feeling so good doing DDP Yoga, he wanted to go to the gym. I'm like, dude, you don't need the gym anymore. He's like, I know, but I just want to do it too. It's like, okay. Just don't bring your ego on the bench or, the lap machine or whatever. And, of course, eventually he did, and that's when he blew his shoulder out.
Right.
It was probably a thread away from blowing out anyway. Another straw on the camel's back. So, it was really good that it happened. It was good that it happened, not that it tore him down. But when we made that video for Kickstarter to try to raise money for his shoulder because he doesn't have any insurance.
Yeah.
And right now he's just coming back from not having any money, too. You go all the way down to the gutters with the drugs and the alcohol,
Right.
And now he's turning around. And, when he hurt his shoulder, and he had to really, reach out and say, hey, I need help. And neither one of those guys are real good at saying I need help, Scott or Jake.
Right.
And, but he did because he knew he really needed it, and we only asked for $9,200 because we thought that's what it was going to cost. Like, we're over $16,000 now,
Wow.
between the rehabs and all the other stuff. But we raised $29,000.
Wow, that's
so,
incredible.
you know, Kickstarter took like $2,000, I think, or something. But you know, he ended up getting $27,000 to pay the bills, and to pay for the teeth, and you know, and to set himself up to, you know, get insurance and stuff. So, you know, it let him know that, wow, look at all these people who really still care. He hadn't been on TV in 20 years.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
you know, 20 years.
I mean, you talk about the, you know, the Kickstarter for Jake and now the Indiegogo with Scott, which, by the way, I'm looking at it right now. It's over $95,000 with 11 days to go, mind you. I mean, speak a little bit to not just the generosity of the wrestling fans, but I mean just good people in general that have donated and how social media has worked and is spreading the word. I mean, you know, speak to that a little bit.
You know, it's really amazing. And it started, you know, I started with my own site, you know, and then I took it from there to doing a lot of YouTube. Like, I don't think anybody as a company has the force that DDP Yoga has on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there are so many YouTubes that we put out there. I think like close to 1,000 or something. I'm not sure exact number. But they're all different. And some are funny and some are inspiring. And some of them are just like, whoa, look at this.
Yeah.
You know, just showing like the crazy stuff that can be done. And touching so many people because YouTube is so huge. Of course, the Arthur Borman video.
Yes.
The disabled veteran that I helped walk again and lose 140 pounds in 10 months. The guy walked on canes for 15 years.
Jeez.
So it's not like, you know, the guy, you know, got hurt like last year and then also we turned him around. No, 15 years.
Wow.
And that video has over 8 million views. It's one of the most watched videos on, you know, on YouTube for that type of style of inspirational video. And what's really interesting is that video, Arthur Borman's journey, has given so many people hope.
Yeah.
You know, I gave him hope. He's given millions hope. And the same thing's happening with Jake and Scott. I gave him some hope and gave him a light at the tunnel. It's like there's a light at the end of this tunnel.
Right.
Now, if you work towards it, you can get there, and I can help you get there. All I'm doing with both of those guys and with Arthur, I'm just a guide. It's like, here's what you should eat. Here's what you should literally, you know, put, you know, in your body and in your mind. Here's the workout you should do. That's minimal joint impact, because someone like Arthur, disabled veteran, he couldn't take any impact. He can't run. He couldn't walk. How's he going to run?
Yeah.
You know, and Jake and Scott, same way. But if you take just about every athlete that's listening right now that's over 35 or 40, there's a good chance that they get out of bed in pieces too.
Wow.
And my workout, DDP Yoga, can change that. I never developed this workout for weight loss. Jake has lost 65 pounds. He lost it in little less than 6 months. Now he's getting that last 10 off. Arthur lost 140 pounds in 10 months. I got a guy named Slim. His real name is Slim Gillian. 601 pounds where he started. In a little over 9 months, he's 178 pounds down and working towards the magic number. But this guy is so strong right now that he can stand on one leg and lift his other leg over his head and stand there.
You're kidding.
That's core strength.
No way.
And he's over 400 pounds right now.
Wow.
We went and just shot our doc. I'm not calling it an infomercial because it's not an infomercial.
Yeah.
It's a documercial. I don't know if it's going to work, you know, because no one's ever done anything like that. Most people, you know, the way they sell their items, and I'm not going to, you know, bust any in particular companies, but,
sure.
You know, most of them people are going to hell. They're lying.
Right.
They're lying from just about the person opens their mouth.
Right.
Nothing I'm saying is a lie. It's fact. And these are real people. They're not fitness models. They're not actors. And, you know, I don't know if people are ready to just be inspired, but, you know, I got to think they are, because that Arthur video, there's no DDP Yoga on it anywhere. If people find our workout through that, because they start, you know, well, who is this guy, Arthur Mormon? But, boom, DDP Yoga will come up because it just keeps coming up because that's how it healed him,
Yeah.
And I was just trying to, all we wanted to do was get him to lose 50 pounds because he was, 5'6", 297
Right.
when he started. And he just wanted to lose 50 pounds. The doctor told me he had to get under 250 pounds to be able to get operated on his knees. Because that was his goal. He had 2 botched knee surgeries. Can I tell you, Arthur has never had surgery on those knees. So he lost 52 pounds in the first 2 months. He lost 34 pounds in 22. He lost 56 pounds in the first 2 months.
That is strong.
He just kept rolling.
Wow. Yeah, that's funny. That video, some people I've told us, like, going to talk with DDP today, and they're like, oh, what's he all about? People that did, they weren't into the wrestling stuff and all that. And I said, watch this video. And that's the video I showed him is Arthur Borman. I mean, it's just incredible. And people's jaws drop when they see this stuff. I mean, it's incredible, And I look at this guy, and I'm like, Dallas, what am I doing with my life? I'll give you a brief background. Maybe you can point me in the right direction. I'm almost 350 pounds. I'm like 5'10". It's pathetic, man. I don't know what the hell to do. I'm thinking about going to ddpyoga.com, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'll tell you, bro, if you really do it, and and I tell, and this is something because you got a show and we could follow up on it. I'll actually help you, but if you don't put the work in, I can't. I just had a woman who, it's on Facebook what she wrote. It was just powerful. She wrote something along the line of, no, she sent it to DDP Yoga. I think she put it on Facebook too.
Okay.
But she'd written basically that she wanted to die. 350 pounds. She was as depressed as she could be. Her car broke down. She lost her job. She was told she's a teacher, and she was told she was not a good educator because she led such a poor example of how she treated herself.
Right.
Her name is Desiree.
Okay.
Her name is Desiree. And she went on and on about how bad it was, and then she saw that video of Arthur Mormon, and she thought, what excuse do I have?
Yeah.
I can still walk around. I don't need knee brace. I don't need a back brace. It hurts like hell to walk around, but at least I can. I don't need canes. And she got the video. She started the program, and she went right to where you need to go to, which is my phase 2, phase 3 eating plan, and that's around eating real food.
Right.
Because you don't. You eat genetically modified food. That's what GMO means. You're going to see they've been fighting it. The food industry has been fighting it, and they just convinced our sheep. I don't know how to call it, but anything but small-minded, people who vote. Because they saw an ad where the food company said, if we have to put labeling on about genetically modified organism, in other words, have to label it GMO, it's going to rise the cost of food. That's what those conmen lobbyists had everybody believe in it, and the vote did not pass. All they would have had to do was on ingredients was put GMO wheat, GMO milk, GMO soy. And what I mean by that is that they've taken foods, and I'll use wheat as an example, and they've genetically altered the structure. So it's not the food, it's not the wheat that I ate as a child. I'm 57, that's not. When I ate wheat, when I was a kid, it was real. It was from a whole grain. Like brown rice is still a whole grain. Wheat is not. It's, it's got, it is what it is.
Yeah.
A company called Monsanto owns the whole deal. They actually own the patent on wheat. Can you imagine that? Watch a movie. You know what you need to see? You need to watch a movie called Food Inc.
That's on Netflix, right? I think I've seen
the Watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was up for an Oscar. It didn't win, but it was up for an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's so well done. And you'll know why you shouldn't eat the garbage. why you're 350 pounds, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, you do not have the genetic structure of your buddy. Well, I'm sure you have one of your buddies who eats worse than you do, and he's 170 pounds.
Yeah, I do.
Right?
I know, I have an exact person. I won't throw his name out there, but I have an exact person in mind who is exactly right. Yes.
He can eat plastic.
Yes.
It's just the way it is. If you look at the reason why you see gluten-free everywhere now,
right,
it's because it's a monster problem.
right,
Monster problem. Because the wheat is in everything. It's in everything. So if you eat too much of anything and you've got it, your body doesn't know how to process it, what's going to happen?
it's going to be a big problem.
It's just going to turn into fat, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, I'm not going to throw all my stuff out there, but I'll tell you, I've got some real issues with that stuff. I mean, it's terrible. And the thing about it is, Dallas, I mean, you talk about, putting the work in. I don't have a problem with that. My issue is direction. That's what I'm missing. To be put in the right direction. That's what I'm missing, I think. I really do.
I have a program guide that goes in my book, goes in my program. It literally shows you how to do everything from, how to eat,
right,
on 3 different levels, because your buddy, he may get overweight at some point too.
Yeah.
So then we go to calorie counting. And it all comes down to calorie counting. And then it's what kind of calories are you putting in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I show you how to break it up. I show you what are the better foods, what are the healthier foods. Like, I will never say don't eat pasta. I'll say eat this pasta.
Right.
It's way better for you. Actually tastes better.
Yeah, I love pasta, man. I don't know if I could give that up.
Well, no, you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Now, if you're dieting, well, then you're going to want to cut back. That just makes sense. If you want to lose 100, 150 pounds, you've got to change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And once you lose the weight, if you stay on the foods that I'm telling you to eat that are real food,
mm-hmm,
you don't have to think about it. Because you're going to feel so much better. Like, if you do my phase 2, phase 3 eating plan, bro, I will guarantee you in 2 to 3 weeks, you'll feel completely different. If you're doing the workout, you're going to be breaking up scar tissue in your body. You're going to be strengthening and lengthening your body, because my workout is a very small piece of yoga. I just use yoga positions, and I mix them with rehab, because I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, 2 knee surgeries. I blew up my back. I blew up my neck. I know a little something about rehab.
right.
If anybody's listening and you want to see where I am today, I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. My career didn't take off until I was 40. I will be 57 on April 5th, which is less than a month away. Go look on my DDPYoga.com site where it says DDP Yoga in the news. Hit that tab and you'll see DDP at 57. Go look at the videos of the strength stuff I can do. Like, do you know what a superhero push-up is?
I sure don't.
If you're laying on your stomach,
Right.
you bend your Superman. You stretch your arms straight out in front of you, and you pick your hands off the mat, and you pick your feet off the mat. Now, put your feet on the ground, put your hands on the ground, and lift your body off the ground.
Wow.
I can do 50. I'll be 57. On my 57th birthday, I will do 57 and put it back up on the site.
That is incredible.
So, to me, right now, the reincarnation or the evolution of Diamond Dallas Page, the person, the brand, will be known as the new Jack LaLanne meets Tony Robbins meets straight Richard Simmons.
Look a lot better than Jack LaLanne, by the way.
I love Jack. Jack is one of my heroes, man. Him and Tony Robbins, I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. Big fan of him, man. Love the way he talks. I love the way he lives his life, man. He walks the talk.
Wow. Man, that's just that's incredible. I'm definitely going to go and check out DDPYoga.com, and I encourage all my listeners to do the same as well as tell them to go and check you out on Twitter. You've got 2 accounts. You've got @RealDDP and @DDP Yoga. And I've noticed that the @DDP Yoga account posts a lot of good, positive messages on there.
Yeah, I try to get out. I try to get out a quote every day. Sometimes I'll get 2 or 3 out that are really positive. Because people look at that. You know, one of my favorite ever. And I always rotate this one back through. It's, you know, try to be half the person your dog thinks you are. You know, our dogs love us. You know, and
right.
You know, no matter how we are, you kick them down the street, get out of my way. Oh, I love you. You know, so. You know, but if you really want to see what people are saying, on Twitter, there's a lot of people do a lot of great things. But you can write a little something on DDP Yoga, Facebook, one word. They say one word, DDP Yoga. Right. The stuff that gets written there by people blows my mind. I mean, it's really powerful, you know, and inspiring. You know, I don't even know them. I give them a comment, and you know, if they go, I also, you know, you talk about social media. I created my own site called Team DDP Yoga. In fact, I want you to go there today. I just want you to go and sign up on that teamddpyoga.com.
Okay.
Watch how many people come by and welcome you, and embrace you to the system, because you know, a lot of places they don't know where to go or what to do. He's like Arthur. He welcomes a lot of people. So does that big boy Slim I was telling you about. Because I help them. And their deal with me is, if I help you, you help others. Pay it forward. That's what our stuff's all about.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible, man. All right. Well, let me ask you this in closing. I know you're a busy guy. Where can people find you? You doing any appearances and stuff like that? People come out and see you?
Well, yeah, man. I'm going to be in Nashville this week. I'm going to be at the Tattoo and Horror Convention. Me and Jake are going up for that, right. And then we head up to. I'll be at WrestleMania. I'll be.
Me too.
I'll be at Access. I'll be at Access. I got 2 or 3 signings. I think I have 3 signings there.
Wow.
And I have. I'll be. A lot of my time will be spent at WrestleCon. Have you heard of WrestleCon?
I have. I am aware of it. I'm going to try to go.
Yeah, well, then come by and see us, bro, because, I'll be there. Jake's there. I think I'm there. I'm there like 4 or 5 hours each of those days, and it's on. God, one day I got so many signs. I've got like 5 signs all around. Nash is having some big party at Shenanigans, which is literally across the street from the Garden.
Wow.
And they already got 350 tickets sold, so I can't imagine how nuts that's going to be. And then I got to sign Access earlier that day. Then I got one at WrestleCon. Then I got one that night. And then I got one the next morning at 8 o'clock in Access. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm going to be hating it. But I'll pull through it. Then I go right to WrestleCon again. Then I'm going to actually go home. You know, I'm from New Jersey, so I'm going back to see my family for a couple of days. Looking forward to that.
Are you actually going to WrestleMania, or are you just doing the signings?
I don't know. It depends how exhausted I am.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest. Most likely I'll make my way to WrestleMania. I'm trying to the whole spectacle of it all. It is in Jersey, so and who knows who's going to be there. You never know. So I probably will show up for that. And if anybody wants to see what I'm doing, go to ddpyoga.com.
Yes.
If you haven't seen the Arthur video, that's where you'll find it. It'll be the first thing that comes up. ddpyoga.com. Yeah, just to be inspired. He wants someone to, he's the guy who eliminates all the excuses. And, if you didn't like what you saw there, go to the Facebook. Because Facebook, DDP Yoga, one word, or Twitter, at DDP Yoga, at Real DDP, bro.
Absolutely. Well, guys, check that out. That's incredibly powerful stuff, and I look forward to checking it out personally. And finally, real quick question for you, Dallas. Cena or Rock? Who you got, man?
Cena. It's time to pass the torch over to the guy who's been carrying the company for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people bust Cena's chops. I love Cena. Cena sucks. I think John Cena is an awesome, guy in the ring. He brings it there every time he hits the mat. I mean, I got a lot of respect for him just because his work ethic's intense.
Definitely.
He rolls with whatever comes his way. And so I think that I got a lot of respect for The Rock, though, too, big time.
Very cool.
He's transcended wrestling. He is truly, he's the most over guy to ever do this. Hogan would be the guy, but he's the guy who, he made it. He did it the right way. How he did it was amazing. So I look for a great match of those two guys, and I think John Cena all the way, man.
Is he doing your yoga program by chance?
And he's the one guy who has not stepped up. Ryback was one of his guys too. That's friggin' just he came back. He got hurt. He was out for 16 months, and Ryan, he puts DDP Yoga over all the time. He made it part of his workout. Wow. When he's lifting weights, he's doing it. Before he goes to the ring, he's doing it. He's learned a lot of different, movements. And him and Jericho are the guys who really put it out. Chris Jericho put it out there more than anybody. I mean, got Edge, doing it. He said he felt the best. He felt like he was 18 years old right now.
Wow.
The guys, at one point we had 12 guys in the Royal Rumble that do DDP Yoga.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's very cool for me. But the coolest guy of all the guys, when I was doing the whole social media thing for that Shorty Awards thing,
right?
Jerry Briscoe.
Oh.
Went on Twitter and put up a tweet, not just a tweet, but a video of how much he loves to work out. He's the first guy I ever met in this business. Like 40 years or 35 years ago, whatever it was. I think it was 30 years ago.
Right.
I mean, he was a guy that, respected up and down, that I could help him. That, to me, that's priceless. And I just love that Jerry Briscoe tells people you need to do DDP Yoga.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna head to that site myself, and I'll definitely be in touch. And Dallas, thank you so much for the time and appearing on the show, man.
Man, appreciate the time. And like I say, if you get the program, you make sure you come to teamddpyoga.com and let me know where you're at, and then we'll go from there, and I'll help you, bro.
I appreciate that. Matter of fact, when I sign up and get all this stuff, I'm gonna document it myself. I see all the YouTube stuff you're doing, and we're just starting to get a YouTube channel for the radio program. So I'll document it. I'll let the people out there keep me in line as well. So
it helps make you accountable, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dallas.
It's been your pleasure.
Remember at the beginning of the show, I mentioned a little thing called Patreon? Well, I'd love to have you join me. But Gary, what is Patreon? It's a website that is helping small creators like me raise funds to further expand their creative visions. For as low as $1 a month, you can help me further my dream of reaching as many people as possible and eventually taking the show on the road to meet all these fine people face to face and add a video element to this podcast. If you were to donate $4 a month, you'd be hearing this show a few days earlier with no commercials and getting access to my close friends group on Instagram. Donate $10 a month and you get all that plus your name right at the beginning of the show alongside other producers. But act fast. That tier is limited to 10 people. I've got a whole lot more to offer, and you can get all the details over at patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Thanks so much for checking out the show, and I'll talk to you again really soon. HardWorkAlwaysWins.com. It's more than just a clothing line. It's my mantra. I speak it, I wear it, I live it, and I'd love to have you join the Hard Work Squad. We're constantly adding new items to the store, including our brand new Future-ish hats, which come in a variety of colors, including camo. I mean, who doesn't like camo? We also just put our famous Splash logo in gold to match our OG logo, and there's so much more here. You just got to check it out. Here's the best part. Use the code PODCAST at checkout to take 10% off of your very first order and join the Hard Work Squad today.